Now that we've added products to an order, this video is going to focus on making the job happen from a warehouse perspective. It is worth noting that if you don't want to barcode scan, you can simply generate a picking list document. And you can do this by clicking into the opportunity, scrolling down to the print section down the right-hand side, and just generating the picking list here. So this is our default picking list. It will just show quantities, no prices, and you can print that off at the top if you would like to. Of course, these documents are all customizable. And so, for example, you can get tick boxes on here. So this is, again, our default document that does have tick boxes. If you would like access to this document, please just contact our support team on the green help bubble in the bottom right-hand corner, and we will be happy to help you. Before we do talk about scanning barcodes, you may want to understand what Scanner's current RMS works with. So the short answer here is that Current does work with many different types of scanner, and as long as they fit the following requirements, they should work well with Current. Okay, so in terms of if you are using barcodes that are generated by Current RMS, our barcodes are code 128. And so with this in mind, you want to ensure that your scanner reads code 128. It works with your device. So if you're using a MacBook, make sure your scanner works with a MacBook, the same with Windows devices. Also with this, you want to ensure that that scanner operates as a keyboard wedge and finishes with a carriage return. So just to explain what that means, with a keyboard wedge, when you scan a barcode, it will simulate typing out that barcode on a keyboard, essentially. And then the carriage return simulates hitting enter on the keyboard. So what that means is that when you scan something, it will automatically submit it, and you can then just continue scanning without having to go back to your laptop to confirm the previous scan by hitting enter on your keyboard. In terms of certain brands, a lot of our customers have said really good things about Zebra scanners, but others have also mentioned Motorola and Symbol scanners. But with these scanners, what we would always recommend doing is your own research on this, because you need to make sure it works with your device. And ultimately, if you run into any issues, you will need to contact your manufacturer about that. In terms of barcode printers, current RMS barcodes are generated in a PDF format. So as long as your scanner can print up, your printer can print off PDFs, then you should be completely fine with that. And I'd also recommend, looking into what material you want to use, as this may affect which printer you want to buy. Okay, so that is just taking a look at barcode scanners. What we're going to do now is look at scanning assets themselves, and you can do that within the detail view of the order. So if we click into this, this is our warehouse view, where we can see everything that needs to go out on that particular rental or event. So the first step here is to allocate the asset number. So taking room 2 as an example, we know that we've got an E6 loudspeaker that needs to go out on this particular rental. What we have here, first of all, is the allocate stage. So this is where we're actually telling the system what particular barcode is going out. So we know that one of them needs to go out, but right now the system is seeing this as one of perhaps 20 different speakers we have on our shelves. So it doesn't know which one until our warehouse operative goes up to the shelf, picks the specific one that's going out, and scans the barcode like this. And then from there, rather than it being one of 20, we don't know which, it is specifically barcode number 2 that is going out. So next up, we have an optional step here, which is called prepared. So this could be if the asset has been loaded onto a delivery vehicle ready to go out. Again, we can scan this if we want to then mark that as prepared. The reason why people may do that is because if the asset then gets damaged or lost, we may look at the delivery driver for accountability of that damaged or lost asset. The next step here is book out. And this is when the asset is out at the event or the rental is in the hands of the customer. So again, once it is in the hands of the customer, we can then scan that. And from our point of view, we now know that if this asset gets damaged or lost, we could be looking at the customer as accountable for that. So you've seen me scan through every single stage there. However, this isn't required. So if you have serialized products, we would highly recommend always allocating, just so that you know which specific barcode number has gone out. But once you've done this, if you want to move ahead to book everything out, to say everything has gone to the event, you can tick the boxes like this, go to action and select book out to do that en masse. So once we have booked out the assets, the next step is when things return back to us, which is the check-in process. So if we go to our check-in tab here, we can then go ahead and start scanning all the assets as they return back to us. And as you can see here, it will mark it as checked in. The color coding of this view is very, very important because if you're scanning everything to check it back in, if something is missing, that red booked out status is going to stand out in amongst the sea of blue checked in items so that you know that something is missing. Let's just say in this example that the XLR cable is missing. We can actually click on the blue arrow here and individually check this in, where we could then state, actually, this did not come back okay. This was lost. And you can even leave a further description here if you want to. And as you can see here, that then checks that in as lost, which means that it's going to pick up this XLR cable and put it into the quarantine. But also we can generate documents in current RMS, such as the damaged loss kit document. And this is going to pull through what has been marked as damaged. And if you have an associated replacement charge there, it will pull that through onto the document as well for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, just for the purposes of time, is I'm going to check everything else back in to say everything else came back okay. And the final step here is to go ahead and finalize the check-in. So this is where we are date stamping and time stamping when this equipment returned back to us. So we are expecting this to come back on the 2nd of August in this particular example. But let's just say that this returned back a day early. It actually returned back on the 1st of August, let's just say. We can actually put this in here. You can set the date and time and finalize this. And what this is going to do is it's going to move all of this inventory back into availability a day early for us so that we can then put that straight out onto a different rental or a different event if we want to. Okay, so we have now completed everything from an operational perspective. The final step here to complete the order is just to go ahead and ensure we are also finalizing our labor. So if we head into the services view, once the audio engineer has completed their job, we can finalize the service. We can say that Ewan has finished his audio engineer job. And as you can see there, once we have completed both products and services, it will then complete off the entire orders for us.